I think the managers are given more now because of the lectures which the SFA are putting on in similar courses now in the pro licence, especially where the coaches are expected to understand a bit more of the management side, not just the coaching side. And you know, I was really fortunate when I done my badges. The people who gave up time for me, you know, Andy Roxburgh was in charge, but you know, people like Alex Ferguson, Walter Smith, you know, Craig Brown, Archie Knox, really experienced people who were on those courses and taking the courses. So I think now, you know, I'm a bit more experienced than some of the boys who are coming on the courses, and I think for them to hear some of the problems I have or some of the situations in management, what I've got to deal with, I think it's always good for the development. And I think when I was doing it, I didn't think that information was quite as ready because the pro licence wasn't out then when it first started. But I think now it's much easier to understand, you know, the dealing with players, you know, the day-to-day running in a club. And that's credit to everybody involved with UEFA, and I think Andy Roxburgh needs a lot of credit for that. But for example, here at the SFA, I know that Jim and his staff put in great work to try and make sure if any of the boys get a job, that they're as well prepared as they possibly can be. I think the SFA courses, as you can see by the level of the managers and the amount of coaches who've come through this course, is incredible. So I think if anything, the SFA should talk up exactly the success they get with the managers. Probably the most successful manager at this moment in time, off the top of our head, would be Mourinho, who was part of the course here in Scotland as well. But I do think that we've got to look to see how, you know, the Germans, the Italians do it, and the way they might look at things differently. And I think in time that might be the development where, you know, maybe it'll be part of that people will do but half a badge maybe in Scotland and half a badge in Italy. And I think that would be a good development for the coaches. I'm not saying it's going to make you win any more games, and in the end it comes down to winning more games, and you know, that's something which nobody has the formula for that exactly. I think you just have to do your work, try and prepare yourself the best you can, and when you get the opportunity, take it. Well, I've always sort of looked to see if I can pick anything up, anything from the games, and I really enjoy watching football. It's probably my hobby as well, you know, it's my job. But I've always seen it as something which, isn't it great to go to games and watch football getting played? And I think coming from that, when you do that, you end up seeing something, or you see some good players, or you see something different which a coach has done. I think the higher you get up in the situation we're in, it becomes more difficult to see something different completely from what you're working on or what you're trying to achieve. But you always see good players. Recently I went to see some games abroad, and I saw a Germany national team playing, and I saw something they done which I tried to implement at my own club. So I think you can learn from everybody. You always have to go out there and just try and see if you can find it.
When you started your coach education, what did you think was going to come from it? What was your ambition at that point?
My ambition was to become a better player. I came on the coaching courses. I actually started as a runner when I was about 17 or 18 at Celtic. They sent me down, and I loved it. I really enjoy getting made to go through the paces, all the things that the coaches wanted you to do. I love being around football people, and then at nights everybody was talking about football. And when I got a bit older and I came on the course, I really enjoyed it. I loved that time I spent with the people, talking about it, doing it on the day-to-day basis in the coaching courses. So my experience were probably as good a time as I'd ever had. That doesn't maybe say an awful lot about me and the good times I do have, but I really enjoyed football, and it was something which it was great to be part and be around a time when, as I said, you know, the people who done the courses were stunning managers, really were. You know, even, you know, and I'm not saying there was good managers as well, you know, Jockey Scott and people were really good coaches who were around at that time. And I was really fortunate to be around that era when I think the SFA were developing lots of good managers and continue to do so.
At your own club, how much do you control or influence your youth set up and the way that the youth players are coached and the selection of the youth coaches themselves?
Well, I took over a club at Everton who had a great successful youth policy, no more so than Wayne Rooney, who was already in the system. But if you look through, you know, hopefully my time at the club, I think there's been young players, we've given players an opportunity, and Everton have had a great record for developing young players. But because of where it's moving on, the house football's moving on, you know, we're looking at so many different things and how to develop young players and where they need to be. We've changed as well, and you know, I brought back another really good coach, and who was my assistant in Alan Irvine, who's another Scottish Scottish pro licence holder who's been through all the courses here, and he's an excellent coach, great wealth of knowledge, and it has changed as well, and the way we're developing the young players is changing, and I think more importantly the facilities, the amount of hours the boys have to coach and work now. Well, I think we're all realising that we have to get them more time on the ball and more hours at a really good level.